Fuck. Post a picture of your motherfucking mama. She dead. Nigga. Hey, respect, nigga. Stop fucking playing with my mama. Nigga ain't playing like that. Nigga ain't going like that, nigga. How y'all raised? I'm not raised like that. I don't go. I'm not going about my mama. I'm not going. So tell your mama dig her ass up and post a picture that look better than my mama, nigga.
I think deep down we all knew Curtis 50 Cent Jackson would eventually run into someone who wasn't intimidated by his trolling. For years, he's moved like the undisputed heavyweight champ of internet pettiness. Rappers, actors, reality stars, nobody has been safe. But if you had told people that King Harris would be the one stepping up to spar with him, most would have laughed. Yet here we are, watching it unfold in real time. The tension really escalated when 50 pulled King's mother into his ongoing friction with T.I. That's when the vibe shifted from playful jabs to something personal. In hip-hop culture, once family gets mentioned, especially somebody's mom, it's no longer just banter. King made that clear immediately. He clapped back, basically saying 50 is far too grown to be moving reckless online like this. And while calling 50 petty isn't exactly groundbreaking, that reputation has followed him for years. This time the stakes felt heavier. King has been loud about boundaries. From his perspective, defending his mother isn't optional, it's mandatory. He framed it as respect, not ego. But 50 doesn't really operate in retreat mode. Instead of dialing it down, he switched lanes and redirected the heat toward King's personal life. He suggested King should worry less about protecting his mom and more about what's allegedly happening with his child's mother. That's where the internet leaned in, because when 50 starts hinting, people assume he believes he's got inside knowledge. Is it strategic trolling? Is he just stirring reactions? Or does he actually have something solid behind the curtain? Historically, 50 has mixed humor with real information before, so that uncertainty keeps everyone guessing. Now the dynamic feels bigger than just two individuals arguing online. It's almost symbolic. Established rap mogul versus the son of Southern hip-hop royalty. Old school internet warfare versus new generation pride. Social media is treating it like a sport, picking sides, replaying clips, analyzing captions. But beneath the memes, there's something else. Pride, reputation, and generational tension. 50 built his brand on dominance and psychological jabs. King is building his identity on proving he's not just somebody's son. That combination was bound to clash eventually. So now the real question isn't just who wins the back and forth. It's whether either one is ready for how far this could escalate. Because once personal lives get spotlighted, things don't always go back to jokes. And neither of them looks ready to blink first.
But yeah, for him to say, let's go mama for mama, dig yours up and make her post a picture of her looking better than my mother. You know, King is absolutely unhinged. And if 50 really manages to find a way to go back and forth with King, I don't see how that's gonna happen unless King was out here trying to, like, I don't know, do a little acting tape for one of 50 Cent shows, and the tape came out looking bad. There's really nothing that he could say to King that King isn't gonna respond to. He's been dealing with going back and forth with people.
Girl, the way King Harris has been going toe-to-toe with 50 Cent, it's messy, it's loud, and it's kind of unbelievable to watch in real time. Because let's be honest, 50 built an empire off trolling. This is the same man who has gone at heavyweight rappers, TV executives, athletes, and entire reality show casts without blinking. So seeing someone from the younger generation jump in and not fold under pressure, that surprised a lot of people. But this didn't just fall out of the sky. The roots go back to that Verzuz gala that was supposed to shake the culture, 50 Cent versus T.I. Now that would have been a serious early 2000s showdown. We're talking club anthems, radio domination, mixtape heat. Both of them had catalogs that defined an era. It would have been nostalgia overload. At first, 50 seemed open to the idea. Fans were already building imaginary set lists in their heads. The blogs were hyping it up like a championship match. Then suddenly, silence. Reports started saying 50 wasn't interested anymore. No clear explanation, just vibes shifting. So when T.I. was asked about it later, he didn't sugarcoat anything. He basically implied that 50 couldn't stand on stage next to him record for record. And that kind of talk, that hits directly at pride. In hip-hop, your catalog is your resume. Saying someone ducked you is like saying they were scared of the scoreboard. Once the internet caught wind of that, it turned into a full debate. People started listing hits, arguing about impact, replaying old tracks. It became less about whether the Verzuz would happen and more about who would have won. That's when things reignited. And somehow, right in the middle of two rap veterans sparring, King Harris stepped in. Not quietly, not respectfully asking for space. He came in defending his dad with full confidence. And that's when 50 redirected the spotlight straight onto him. What started as a legacy debate between two seasoned artists quickly transformed into a generational face-off, an OG mogul versus the son of Southern rap royalty. And social media, they are absolutely treating it like primetime entertainment.
I wanted 50. That's what I said. He don't want no smoke, though.
Oh, Lord.
I called my man out. He don't want no smoke. He ducking smoke. It's cool. So now... So now here we trying to think about other people who would do it. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
We mentioned Wayne, and Wayne wouldn't be bad.
Oh yeah, that absolutely struck a nerve. The minute T.I. started talking catalogs and implying that 50 couldn't stand beside him record for record, you could feel the temperature rise. In hip-hop, your catalog is your crown. Question that, and you're questioning a man's entire legacy. And we all know 50 was not about to let that fly without responding. Instead of brushing it off, he did exactly what people expected. Troll mode fully activated. 50 hopped online and threw subtle shade, hinting that Atlanta picks and chooses who they support, and that folks needed to do better. Then came the classic energy, keep my name out your mouth, delivered with that half-laugh, half-warning tone he's perfected over the years. It's that style where you can't tell if he's joking or loading up for the next shot. But then he escalated. He reposted old courtroom footage involving T.I., making pointed references about credibility and past legal situations. In hip-hop culture, that's not playful teasing, that's heavy. When court footage gets involved, it's about reputation, it's about respect, it's about who stands solid and who doesn't. And 50 knew exactly what he was doing by bringing that back into the conversation. He even captioned it with something along the lines of skipping the Verzuz entirely and doing a stay away challenge instead. That's vintage 50, turning confrontation into mockery while keeping the spotlight on himself. Calculated, entertaining, and guaranteed to spark reactions. But here's the twist. T.I. didn't retreat. He didn't soften his stance. He doubled down. He continued pushing the narrative that his catalog could stand toe-to-toe with 50's any day. From his perspective, if the Verzuz didn't happen, it wasn't because he was unprepared. It was because 50 didn't want the comparison happening in real time. And once fans start whittling down discographies, it becomes a sport. People start listing platinum plaques, chart positions, cultural impact, mixtape eras. It turns into a numbers game mixed with nostalgia. One side argues global dominance, the other argues Southern influence and longevity. At that point, it stops being about two men arguing online. It becomes a full-blown legacy debate. And those debates, they don't die quickly. They live in comment sections, barbershops, and group chats forever. What began as a potential celebration of two early 2000s giants turned into a pride war. And when pride, history, and reputation are involved, neither side is quick to blink. The music may be decades old, but the competitive fire still very much alive.
Okay, so first, it was really about celebrating each other's catalog. Me and that nigga talk back there, bro. This shit, I ain't just called a nigga out the blue.
Yeah.
Me and that nigga talk back there.
You talking about you with 50?
Yeah, man. We talk about this shit, man. This shit just come out of nowhere. Nigga, we were moving around in LA, man, selling some TV shows and shit while we were around each other, man. You know what I mean? I said, shit, what you think about this? He was like, shit, you want to do that shit? I said, yeah. He was like, all right, cool. So shit. And I told him, I said, well, I'm gonna jump out there first, and then you just gonna jump out there and we'll line it up. Wow. And he said, all right. And when I jump out there, nigga act like he ain't know what the fuck was going on. Then that's what it was about. You know what I'm saying? Now, it about, oh, you playing? Okay, you gonna play. All right, cool. But how about fuck all of it? Fuck all of it. I don't even want you, man. Cause now I question your character.
T.I. definitely didn't let up. From his perspective, the questions were valid. If two artists publicly float the idea of a versus and one backs out, fans are gonna want clarity. That's just how the culture works. So when T.I. kept hinting that 50 couldn't stand beside him hit for hit, he framed it like competitive talk, catalog versus catalog, era versus era, nothing personal, at least at first. But once 50 realized the conversation wasn't dying down, he pivoted. And instead of responding with streaming numbers, chart placements, or plaque counts, he went somewhere else. He posted an unflattering photo of Tiny during a performance. That's when everything shifted. Because now it wasn't rapper versus rapper anymore. It was wife pulled into the middle of a dispute she hadn't publicly engaged in. Tiny hadn't been online arguing, she wasn't giving interviews about verses, she wasn't posting subliminals, she was simply performing. So when her image became part of the exchange, a lot of people felt like the line had been crossed. Yes, Tiny has been a public figure for years and has faced commentary about her appearance before. That conversation has existed online for a long time, fair or unfair. But there's a difference between public discourse and being used as ammunition in someone else's disagreement. Many fans pointed out that she tends to stay out of direct conflict. She supports her husband, focuses on her own career, and rarely inserts herself into rap beef. The reaction online was immediate. Even some people who normally laugh at 50's trolling paused on this one. There's always a debate in hip-hop about what's fair game. Lyrics? Absolutely. Career critiques? Sure. Business rivalries? That's part of it. But when spouses who haven't spoken are dragged in, people start questioning intent. That's when the narrative changes. What started as playful competition can quickly look like personal targeting, and perception matters. Once enough people say something feels unnecessary, it stops being entertainment and starts being scrutiny. Now the focus isn't just on who has the stronger catalog, it's about boundaries. Who kept it about music? Who made it about family? And in a culture where respect carries weight, that distinction becomes important. The debate continues, but one thing is clear. Once personal lives enter the conversation, it's hard to rewind it back to bars and beats.
I honestly don't understand how 50 Cent is still allowed to be a part of the industry because he does stuff like this. So disrespectful. T.I. mentioned him on the podcast and he got so angry that he posted T.I.'s wife like this, y'all. He said, I keep saying, keep my name out your mouth. And posted Tiny. Disrespectful.
And this is exactly where the temperature went from hot to explosive. The second 50 posted Tiny, King made it clear he wasn't going to sit back and let that ride. No hesitation, no warning. He jumped in loud and direct, basically saying nobody gets to joke about his mother and just log off like nothing happened. But instead of steering it back toward music or even keeping it centered on T.I., King took it somewhere deeply personal. He referenced 50's late mother in a post that shocked a lot of people scrolling that day. Once a deceased parent is brought into a public feud, the energy shifts instantly. That's no longer playful trolling, that's emotional territory, and the internet felt it. King's message was simple in his eyes. If you open the door to mothers, then don't expect limits. He accused 50 of moving recklessly and even implied that maybe his behavior stems from not having family around to hold him accountable. That wasn't just shade, that was psychological. It was the kind of comment meant to hit deeper than jokes about appearance or catalog numbers. Social media split immediately. Some people argued King was responding proportionally, that 50 started the family angle, so he shouldn't be surprised when it comes back around. Others felt that bringing up someone's deceased mother crossed a boundary that shouldn't be touched, no matter who fired first. In hip-hop culture, "Don't speak on my mama" is almost sacred, but "Don't speak on the dead" carries equal weight. So now both sides were standing on principles that clash hard, one defending his living mother, the other dealing with the mention of someone who can't defend herself. What began as a competitive debate over who had the stronger early 2000s catalog completely transformed. It stopped being about music. It stopped being about Verzuz. It became about pride, pain, and generational triggers being aired out publicly. And here's the wild part. Neither of them is known for backing down. 50 has built a reputation on psychological pressure. King has built his image on proving he won't be punked, especially when family is involved. That combination is combustible. So at this point, the scoreboard isn't about hits anymore. It's about escalation. Who's willing to go further? And more importantly, who's prepared for what happens if this keeps climbing? Because once you move into deeply personal territory, it's hard to walk it back like it was just entertainment.
Straight like that. Your son don't love you. You don't got no family. You not loved. You rich, but you not loved, nigga. Money means nothing without no one to spend it with. Your son don't love you. And nigga, just for talking about my mama, I would slap the fuck out that nigga just cause he share the same blood as you, nigga. I don't give a fuck. Man, at the end of the day, I don't play by my mama. I don't play by my mama.
Now, let's keep it real. A lot of grown men would have seen King jump into the situation and said, all right, that's enough, let's cool it. Especially once parents and personal history start getting thrown around. But this is 50 Cent. Cooling off is not exactly his brand. The man has built a second career off internet pressure. If he's sparred with seasoned executives, veteran rappers, and even other artists' kids before, he's not about to suddenly decide to take the high road now. Instead of dialing it down, 50 leaned in even harder. He posted a meme comparing King to a frog, complete with a laughing caption. It wasn't subtle. And just in case anyone thought it was random, he followed up with a clip featuring King and Tiny. That made the target crystal clear. The message? He wasn't retreating. Not even a little. Now, this is where things get layered. When jokes stop being about music, business or ego and start focusing on physical appearance, especially when the person is significantly younger, the optics change. Some fans laughed it off, saying it's classic 50 behavior. Others weren't amused at all. They felt like it was starting to look less like competitive banter and more like a power imbalance. At the same time, King hasn't exactly been timid. He's vocal, confident, and very clear about defending his family. He hasn't posted soft responses. He's met energy with energy. To some observers, this isn't bullying. It's two strong personalities refusing to blink. But what complicates it is the generational contrast. This isn't just two rappers in their prime arguing over records. It's a mogul who's been in the industry for decades versus the son of another hip-hop heavyweight trying to establish his own identity. That dynamic adds layers of pride and perception. And let's not forget, millions of followers are watching every post, every caption, every deleted story. This isn't a private argument, it's public theater. And when pride meets public audience, escalation becomes tempting. At this point, it's not about Verzuz anymore. It's about who's willing to outlast the other in the arena of reputation. Neither one looks ready to log off. So the real question is simple. Who gets tired first? Because right now, both sides seem determined to prove they won't be the one to back down.
If my wife looked like that, may God bless America.
Damn.
Ooh. I
gotta take a drink to that.
know if that's a wrestler. I don't know if that's Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Put her in the comment section.
Hacksaw.
That's what they call it, tiny Hacksaw Jim Duggan. No, let me stop. You see? You get me in trouble. Oh my
Damn.
God, put me in the comment section. Man, you gotta have T.I., Lil King looking for me.
50 clearly wasn't clocking out of this one. If anything, he hit refresh and came back louder. Instead of ignoring King, he posted another video telling him to stay out of grown folks' business and handle his own situation. And when 50 says focus on your own house, that's never neutral. That's a warning shot. He started hinting that King should be more concerned about what's going on with the mother of his child, instead of jumping online to defend his parents. That's classic 50. Redirect, expose, embarrass. The King didn't flinch, not even a little. He fired back with an old courtroom clip of 50 from years ago, bringing up past legal troubles involving disputes with women. His caption basically implied that 50 only knows how to pressure women and challenged him to bring that same energy elsewhere. That was a bold move, because once you start pulling up legal history, it's no longer playful trolling. That's reputation warfare. And King didn't stop there. He escalated again by posting a photo of 50 with his son, questioning his parenting and suggesting that certain public moments didn't reflect raising a young man properly. Now that hit a nerve. If there's one topic 50 has shown sensitivity about over the years, it's conversations surrounding his relationship with his children. That's personal territory. So 50 pivoted once again, this time straight toward King's child. He implied King should be worried about the woman he had a baby with, suggesting she might be motivated by money or attention. And just like that, the narrative shifted again. Because now we're not just talking about two men arguing online, we're talking about babies, families, young lives connected to a public feud. Ever since King announced he was expecting a child with a woman known online as Thick Nana, the internet has had opinions. Some critics speculated that she may have been attracted to the Harris family name more than King himself. Others pushed back hard, saying that narrative unfairly stereotypes young women linked to famous families. The truth is, very little is publicly verified about her background. Social media shows her speaking confidently about motherhood and her new lifestyle. Some of her comments about fame and financial security rubbed viewers the wrong way, but confidence online doesn't automatically equal manipulation. Social media thrives on short clips, not full context. Still, 50's strategy is obvious. Plant doubt, raise questions, let the internet do the rest. That's always been part of his playbook. He doesn't have to prove anything outright, he just has to spark conversation. But here's the bigger picture. What started as a legacy debate about music has spiraled into parenting critiques, relationship speculation, and generational pride battles. It's no longer about who has more hits. It's about who looks stable, who looks respected, who looks in control. And when children get pulled into the spotlight, the energy changes. The jokes don't land the same. The stakes feel heavier. Pride becomes protection, and protection can turn into escalation fast. Right now, neither side looks ready to wave a white flag.
50 thrives in chaos. King thrives on proving he won't be disrespected. That combination doesn't cool down easily. So the real question is, does this keep climbing? Or does someone finally decide that family isn't worth the clicks? Because at this point, this isn't just entertainment. It's legacy, ego, and real-life relationships playing out in front of millions.
It don't work. Yeah, I think at this point of my life right now, no, I don't work. Like, I don't work, but I did want to get a job. But it's like y'all know me now, and I'm not the type of person, I'm not a friendly ass bitch. So, like, you know what I'm saying? All of that, you know what I'm saying? You see me at work and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really am not the talkative person, you know? So, maybe like a bottle girl job.
And then King added a layer that really shifted the temperature online. In one clip that started making rounds, he mentioned that the mother of his child has basically said she doesn't mind if he talks to other women as long as she's taken care of. The second that soundbite hit timelines, the internet locked in hard. Because depending on how you hear that statement, it lands completely different. Some people saw it as blunt honesty. Like, she's not pretending. She's clear about her expectations. She's prioritizing security over fantasy. In certain circles, that kind of transparency isn't shocking. It's practical. But others heard alarm bells. The phrase, "as long as I'm provided for," instantly fueled the gold digger narrative that critics were already whispering about. People started connecting dots that may or may not even exist. Suddenly, it wasn't just a young couple navigating parenthood. It became a storyline about motives, money, and long-term intentions. Here's the part that gets overlooked, though. Social media thrives on snippets. One sentence becomes a headline becomes a narrative, and a narrative becomes truth in the public eye, whether it's complete or not. We don't know what their private agreements look like. We don't know the tone of that conversation. Was it sarcasm? Was it serious? Was it taken out of context? None of that travels as fast as the clip itself. Still, perception matters, especially when you're young, tied to a high-profile family, and already in the middle of a public feud. Every word becomes ammunition. For King, that comment unintentionally handed 50 more fuel, because 50's whole angle has been, focus on your own house. So when that clip surfaced, it looked like confirmation to some observers. Now the conversation expanded. It wasn't just about trolling anymore. It became about maturity, about relationship dynamics, about what loyalty looks like in 2025. Some people argued that modern relationships don't all fit the traditional mold. Others said if exclusivity isn't expected, that signals imbalance. And then there's the financial piece. In high-profile families, being taken care of can mean very different things. Is it basic support? Is it lifestyle maintenance? Is it long-term security planning? The phrase is vague enough that people project their own experiences onto it. That's why it sparked such loud reactions. For King, this adds another layer of pressure. He's already trying to prove he's not just T.I.'s son. He's defending his mom publicly, he's clashing with a rap mogul known for psychological tactics. Now his relationship is being dissected like a reality show subplot. That's a lot for anyone, let alone someone still building their own identity. For 50, it fits neatly into his strategy. He doesn't need hard proof. He just needs doubt to circulate. Once people start debating whether someone's household is solid, the seed has been planted. That's how online narratives grow. At this point, the beef has evolved far beyond music. It's about image, stability, respect, control. And when relationship dynamics enter the chat, the stakes feel different, because reputations in hip-hop aren't just built on records anymore. They're built on how your personal life looks under pressure. The real issue now isn't whether someone has more hits or sharper clapbacks. It's whether this continues spiraling into deeper territory. Because once the internet starts debating your family structure and your relationship standards, that conversation doesn't quiet down easily. It lingers. It reshapes perception. And perception, especially in the age of viral clips, can hit just as hard as any diss track.
Like, shawty, don't say, you got a baby. I'm a good baby daddy. I ain't got no baby mama problems. My baby mama is one of the most player baby mamas, you know what I'm saying, known to mankind. So, like, what the fuck is you talking about? Don't try to, like, I don't, you got a baby, man, beat it. Beat it. My job. If I'm talking like, let's say I DM a girl, or I get a girl number, or, you know what I'm saying, a girl at the studio, just know my baby mama don't care. So you cannot do, don't try to pull, no, King with, no.
And according to 50, the reason King's child's mother isn't stressing about who he talks to is simple. She's allegedly comfortable because she's benefiting. Financially, socially, access-wise. 50 hinted that the real prize isn't King himself, but proximity to T.I.'s resources and the Harris last name. And once he said that out loud, it took a rumor that had been quietly floating and blasted it across the timeline. Because, let's be honest, whispers about independence versus family backing have followed King for years. Anytime someone grows up in a high-profile household, that question lingers. Are you self-made or are you supported? And when 50 frames it like King's household runs on his parents' wallet, it's not just a jab at his relationship, it's a jab at his manhood. The internet split immediately. Some people argue that 50 was exposing immaturity. They said if you're still leaning heavily on your parents financially, then you shouldn't be jumping into veteran-level beef. Others saw it for what it might be. A classic 50 tactic. Embarrass publicly, plant doubt, let pride do the rest. But here's where it gets layered. 50 might have underestimated King's mindset. King has always carried that visible chip on his shoulder. He doesn't want to be introduced as T.I.'s son. He wants respect on his own name. He talks about independence, he talks about standing on business, he talks about proving himself outside of privilege. So when 50 implies he's propped up by family money and being used for access, that's not just teasing. That challenges the very identity King is trying to build. And even if there's partial truth somewhere in the middle, pride doesn't allow room for reflection in the heat of a public clash. Right now, King isn't interested in dissecting financial nuance. He's focused on one thing, defending his mother and protecting family respect. King fired back strategically. Instead of addressing the money angle directly, he zoomed out. He started listing names. Rappers, actors, executives, people 50 has publicly clashed with over the years. His point was clear. This is a pattern. You thrive on conflict. You chase attention. You stir chaos. And now you pick the wrong family to try that with. That reframing resonated with a lot of people, because while 50's trolling is legendary, it's also controversial. Some fans love the unpredictability. Others think it's calculated provocation masked as humor. And when Tiny was brought into it, many felt the tone shifted from entertaining to unnecessary. There's a cultural rule in hip-hop that's always debated. Is anyone truly off limits? Some argue once shots are fired, everything becomes fair game. Others hold firm that mothers and spouses who didn't speak first shouldn't be targets. That's where the generational divide starts to show. 50 represents an era where ruthless psychological tactics were part of the sport. No filters, no pause button. If it hurt, it worked. King represents a younger generation that still embraces confrontation, but draws sharper lines around family respect. It's not softness, it's boundary setting. And those two philosophies don't blend easily. Right now, this feels less like random trolling and more like a symbolic clash. OG internet strategist versus pride-driven next generation. One side believes pressure exposes weakness. The other believes standing firm earns respect. And here's the thing. Perception is currency. If King looks dependent, that narrative sticks. If 50 looks like he crossed family lines for attention, that narrative sticks too. Neither side wants that headline attached to their name. So the battle isn't just about jokes anymore. It's about image control, about who looks solid, who looks rattled, who looks justified. And the audience, they're picking sides loudly. Some are rocking with King, saying standing up for your mother is non-negotiable. Others say 50 is just being 50, and if you step into the arena, you better be ready for anything. At this point, it's not slowing down, it's evolving. And the louder it gets, the harder it becomes for either side to quietly exit without looking like they blinked first. So where do you land? Is this respect versus trolling, or ego versus ego? Because one thing is clear, this isn't just rap beef anymore. It's generational pride playing out in public. And the comment section, it's definitely about to be loud.